Hey, Alan Rowland once again. When I was a kid, I always had an interest in history. As an older person, I still have that interest in history. My dad was a biology teacher, and he always encouraged me to go into biology, and I always followed my dad's advice, and sure enough, I did. I got my degree in biology. After I got out of the Army, I started teaching biology subjects, and I taught biology for the next 25 years. But I never lost my interest in history, and after I got through teaching biology, I went into the field of history, and I taught history at college level for 25 years. So I got a chance to do both of those. Now, when I was a young boy, like I said, I was curious about history and local history and Jasper history. And living right down the street from me, right next to Walker College, my dad was president of Walker College, but right next to that, living there, was Mr. Winford Sandlin. That's what he looked like right there. This man meant more to me than anybody in my growing up years, except for my father, David Rowland. And I would always go down to Mr. Sandlin's house, and I would pester him, and he was a history professor at Walker College. And when I pestered him enough, he would come out and he would tell me stories, historical stories, and I was particularly interested in that of the Civil War. And he would tell me history stories about the Battle of Shiloh and Battle of Vicksburg, Chickamauga, and Gettysburg, and Antietam. And I was always very fascinated with that. And one day I asked Mr. Sandlin, I said, did Northern soldiers ever pass through Jasper, Alabama, and Walker County? Did we have the Yankees that were present here? And his answer to me was, I really don't know about that. And so anyway, that stimulated me to do a little thinking on it, and then I forgot the subject for about 25 years. And then finally, I picked it up again. And with quite a bit of research with that, I was able to put together, sure enough, Northern soldiers, the Yankees as we call them, did pass through Jasper, Alabama in 1865, right at the end of the Civil War. And they came through actually on two occasions, in March of 1865 and then 3 weeks later in April 1865. I don't want to give you all the details to that. If you watch my video on Crox's raid, Wilson's raid, it's about a 1 hour video, maybe a little bit longer than that. It gives you all the details with that. But nonetheless, I started putting things together with this, doing a little bit of research, quite a bit of research, and I finally came out with a written document here which talks about it. And here it is here, Wilson's raid, Union troops in Walker County and Jasper in March and April of 1865. Tells you a little bit more about this. I put this together in the early 1990s. It started about 1989. I think I finished it up about 1992, 1993. And I was encouraged to publish it. I just really didn't feel like getting into that. And I printed off a number of copies here using the college computer and college paper and college binder. I ended up selling a couple hundred copies of this. And then that was that, and I forgot about it. Put it up on a shelf, and there it sat there for about the next 30 years. And then crazily enough, 1 year ago, and in fact it was in the spring of 2024, my daughter, Mary Beth, approached me and she said, Dad, I keep hearing a little bit of interest in that Civil War books you wrote. She said, would you consider publishing that? And I thought, well, I might could do that. And so I checked around with publishers, and of course, the quickest way to do this is go into, just the internet, find somebody to publish your book. And I found an organization out of California, and they agreed to do this, and they would publish it, and they would copyright it, and sell it through Amazon. And lo and behold, this is what came out of it anyway. I'll just show it to you right here. And this is what it looks like. Let's go back here to the camera here. I think you'll be able to see it a little bit better. And that's what it looks like. Wilson's raid, and just tells you about it here. And a nice cover. I like that cover there. The rumors were that when the Northern forces passed through Walker County, they burned the courthouse, First Methodist Church, and a Baptist church, not in Jasper, a primitive Baptist church. And anyway, so that was that, And so I was very fascinated with this. Produce a book here. I don't determine the price. Amazon determines the price. If you're interested in it, you can order it through Amazon. This is what it looks like. These two individuals here, my dad made these sketches showing you the Union leader here, Major General Harry Wilson, James Harrison Wilson, and then over on this side, Brigadier General John Thomas Croxton. And like I said, my father made those illustrations. It comes with some maps. I sketched those maps here, and the narrative here. A lot of photographs here showing you old photographs of Walford County. And let's see what else we have here. More photographs. I thought I had something here towards the end. And anyway, and that was pretty much it, So I'm very proud of that, and perhaps you'll find an interest in that. And like I said, I don't determine the price on this. Amazon does that. I would have sold this little book here for probably half the price, but Amazon chose not, and I don't have any say-so in that. All right, but what that stimulated in me was a desire to maybe look further into the subject. So that will bring us into our next presentation here. Thank you.